Hello everybody, Dagmar Bryant, Mindset and Transformational Coach, coming to you today to talk about expectations. And today I want to talk about the expectations that we put on ourselves. I know in a previous video I've spoken about expectations from others, but what I want to focus on is the kind of mindset where we think that we need to always put in more. Are you one of those people where if someone asks you, can you help out, that you're always saying yes, that you're always accepting more and more and more and more on your plate to the point where you are exhausted? Now, let me give you an example. I had a discussion with a lady only a few days ago, and her story was that she had two little kids. She was working full time, and in addition to that, every evening after she finished her job, she would also need to go over to her mother's house to make sure that her mother was taken care of. And as you can imagine, all of that was taking a toll. And I said to her, but what about getting some help in? What about getting some other people to ease the load from you? And she said, well, there is nobody. And I said to her, well, unfortunately, you're going to have to find a way, because at the pace that you are going, you are going to burn yourself out. Then who's going to look after you? Who's going to look after your kids? And who's going to look after your mother? It's no good us saying yes, yes, yes. We might be a really good person and we might feel that that is our duty, our obligation, and that's something that we put on ourselves. But I would suggest to you that sometimes you also have to say the word no. No, I can't. I can't accept anymore. No, I can't do anymore. I know that for a lot of people that's happening in their work situation, where workers are being laid off and the ones that are being left behind are asked to do more and more of the jobs that are being made redundant. So then how do you cope? Well, at some point, you can't keep saying, yes, I'll do more. You have to say, no, actually, I can't do more. There's not enough hours in the day. And this story reminds me of another lady who I was speaking to last week, who told me about her own workplace, excuse me, and she was working pretty much every night, 6 nights a week, till 9 or 10 o'clock at night, because they had laid off workers and she was expected to fill the hole. What's worse, her bosses were having a go at her because things were falling through the cracks. But here's the rub. There were not enough hours in the day, and she wasn't getting a very good night's sleep either. Can you imagine the amount of stress, the amount of pressure that was being put on her to keep her job, but by the same token, to be able to manage all these other roles that they were putting on her? The upside for her is that she had put in her resignation and that she was going to be leaving in July. And I said to her, don't be surprised if they try and get you to stay. And she said, well, that's never going to happen. But the reason that she was doing all of these things is because over the last 6 months, she knew that July was her end date, her end time, and she really wanted to leave on good terms. But I would suggest to you, sometimes that's not necessarily a good thing. You have to have balance in all things. And even if you want to leave on good terms, you still have to do it in a capacity where you're not going to be spending the first 6 months of your retirement absolutely exhausted and stressed out, potentially even with PTSD. What are the expectations that you put on yourself? Do you keep saying yes to tasks or things that get put on you because you want to keep the peace, because you think it's the right thing to do? Are you forgetting to honor yourself? Because that's such an important factor here. Often we think that we are honoring ourselves by saying yes, when in actual fact, the answer should be, well, actually, no. Tell me something. Have you found yourself in those kind of situations where you are saying yes because you feel like it's the right thing to do? Should you perhaps have said no? What is your exit strategy from a scenario like that? Tell me your story. I'd love to hear it and love to help you with any ideas that we can put together to help you get out of those kind of situations. In the meantime, have a fabulous, fabulous day and talk to you again soon.